like that bar rescue thing. He wants everybody make those every kinds of mixed drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what if somebody just wants a beer? I wonder, like, I bet you being a bartender in this 2-week bike, whatever, in Sturgis is the easiest thing in the world. Here's your Budweiser. Here's your shot of Jack. Yeah. Hi, Chris. We have a few moments.
Here we got Jamaican rum, Puerto Rican rum, Demerara rum.
Demerol rum.
Demerol rum.
Is this a zombie?
Zimby.
Falernum?
What the fuck is that?
It's another one of those weird, nutty liqueurs.
Fresh yellow grapefruit, cinnamon syrup,
Grapefruit.
grenadine, Angostura bitters, and Pernod.
I'm like
that
extra
sounds
shiny
more
on
like
my
a jet
head.
pilot than. Does that say zombie? It's not the zombie I made.
It's the IBA official cocktail, it says.
Okay.
All right. What are you doing there, Chris?
I'm itching spider bites. There's one there.
Okay, and we're live. Hey, everybody, this is Matt, and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Chris is showing off his spider bites.
My injuries. I don't even know where they came from.
Spider bites. Do you have any new superpowers?
Besides being able to start fires with my mind?
No.
That's an old superpower.
Yeah, go try to, like get some stuff to shoot out of there. Yeah, like see through walls or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And clear a room.
Try as a result of the spider bite is what I meant.
Oh. No, new superpowers, not
Can you spin a web any size, etc., etc. So, Chris, we have some important things to speak on tonight.
Okay, so I should be serious?
No, you won't be, because I know you're not going to be. But we just wrapped up hanging out with Ike and Dylan from Flipside Music, the great American guitar store.
Yep.
They did their hour-long primetime guitar thing. We're going to do our hour-long primetime guitar thing, and then Dylan's going to do his hour-long primetime guitar thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, So
we're going to do a 3-hour-long primetime guitar thing all together next week.
That I don't know. That sounds like
reckless.
The last time I heard about a 3-hour tour, it did not end well for.
So recently I've seen, and I know people have done this before, but they've been like, so that boat was this at its fastest, it'll go this fast. They were blah 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 from California.
Okay.
Like, yeah, except for the storm. You don't know how long the storm lasted.
The weather started getting rough. Yeah.
It could have blown them way out there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Why do you have to wreck it?
I'm not saying I'm wrecking
no,
it.
No, not you,
really
but
funny.
people who looked at who try to decipher where they were.
Not to mention, I've tried to power a lot of stuff with a coconut.
Hey, I
can't even open them.
You're not a professor. Sometimes you just have to suspend disbelief.
Uh-huh.
So what's been going on today, sir?
Lots and lots of guitar assembly.
Will there be a reveal tomorrow?
There will be so many reveals tomorrow.
Really? Cool.
And there might even be a special surprise.
Oh, okay.
You don't even know about
I don't know about it. Yeah. I'm looking at what I'm imagining is for the reveal tomorrow. So everybody, we're going to be doing a reveal tomorrow. That's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We shipped the guitar to Japan today.
We did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Huh?
Uh-huh. It's our first guitar to Japan.
No, I think it's our second guitar to Japan.
I
think we've shipped one guitar to Japan.
I thought that was to Hong Kong.
No. Well, I think we've done that too. In any event, we shipped the guitar to Japan today. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty cool.
Wasn't as hard as they thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things are getting easier.
Good.
It's funny how different countries are like. Japan seems pretty free and easy with all the custom stuff.
Okay.
Because I was kind of showing Brandon.
Yeah.
That stuff. And it was like, yeah. How much is it worth? $2,000. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no big deal. So
Australia was the tricky one.
Australia was a lot trickier there was a lot more stuff to fill out.
What about the stuff going to like Germany to Karsten
that seems okay. Yeah, that's
not hard to do.
Same.
Okay.
No. They walk you through it a little bit better now than they used to too. So
cool.
Plus, I got all those cool envelopes.
Indeed. All right. So we've got a bunch of people joining us. We've got Doug Santaniello said that his compressor just kicked on. Welcome to the club, huh? Lefty O, anyone else freezing up? No, I don't think so. But it is getting a little chilly here at night. So Chris, what guys, we are going to take your Q's and give them our A's. If you have any Q's, make sure to put a bunch of question marks so we can see them, because I can't see without my glasses, and I'm not going to wear my glasses the whole time. But so put something on there that like makes me put a emoji. And of course, if you put a super chat, that comes in a different color. I can see that. So yeah, we always try to get to the super chats almost immediately. Chris will drop everything,
including my pants,
for a super chat.
I might be wearing pants now.
We do. You don't
even know.
So, anyways, well, are you ready to just jump right into the topic today, Chris? So I think that I want to talk about the 7 deadly sins of guitar building as I see them. Okay. So I'm right. And y'all know I'm right too. I'm just going to tell you what mine are. Now, if you want to like try to add stuff, you can, but if it's not something that I have decided. So our air compressor kicked on, Doug, just in time. I think you kind of jinxed us there, sir. Get it together, man. So yeah, the 7 deadly guitar building sins as I see them, and because it's me, I'm right. And if you want to add something that I don't have down on my list, you're wrong.
Luckily, there's more numbers in the alphabet.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, and you can be wrong. It's not my fault if you're wrong. So yeah, I'm going to tell you what the right ones are.
Okay.
So what do you think of this, Chris? Do you like this idea?
Sure.
All right.
I don't really know. Yeah.
Don't worry. I've got them all written down. Yeah. I'm going to tell you about them, and then
Luckily,
you can riff on it. How about that with me?
Great.
So the first one that I want to talk about is confusing probability with possibility. So a lot of times this happens where and it could be anything. Oh, hold on. Doug Santinello says more like a reminder. Yeah. So thank you, Doug. So possibility versus probability. So now, by the way, I am one of the worst offenders of all of these things. So I often buy things or do things based on the possibility, no matter how small of a possibility, rather than the probability of, so like, for example, well, I need a $10,000 CNC machine because I'm going to make one guitar, but I could possibly build a lot more one day. Well, the probability is that you could probably do a lot of that stuff with a router and a rasp and some sandpaper and make a really neat guitar. And that's kind of dovetails into, you can't buy competency, and you can't buy skill. You know what I mean? So you have to, so when it comes to buying tools, buy what you need, not what you think you might need in 10 years. What do you think of that?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
I'm still confused. Give me another example.
Well, okay.
I'm probably going to need this, so I'm going to buy it.
No. I don't know why this is so tricky, really. The idea
I don't understand the words.
Okay, well, you do know what probability and possibility. So,
give me probability.
Brian, do you want to be? Never mind.
Yeah, you want to co-host?
You want to come up and co-host? No. So sometimes people plan for things that are never going to happen.
Okay.
But they could.
Okay, give us another example in the guitar building world.
Oh, okay. I'm going to need to invest in the greatest paint gun that I possibly can, because one day Mark Slaughter is probably going to come up to, or possibly going to come up to me and say, I need you to do all this airbrush stuff on my my Jackson Dinky guitar. Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that could happen.
Okay.
But what it is not as unlikely that you will need to do the best finishes you can do, but you don't need to, go into this ridiculous realm of stuff that could eventually, if that sort of thing eventually happens, then go ahead and buy the thing then. But
Okay.
investing in tools for possibilities rather than probabilities is one of the guitar building 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Don't say I feel good about it. You really expand on what you want to say. You had me expand. Now you go ahead.
So you said you're guilty of all of these?
Yeah.
So far, yeah. We are. We did both of those things.
Uh-huh.
Not with a $10,000 CNC machine, but we spent some money on a CNC machine. And there was a time when we talked about paint guns and how well, let's take all the maybe it's the gun out of it and buy
Well,
if
and
not the best, the second best. I think
the Iwata gun that we bought at the time was
so too. Yeah.
one of the first
I
tier
saw a gun for
guns.
$12,000
$12,000
the other day, and I was like,
Sure.
what the hell does that thing do? Yeah.
So, and this sort of someone put something on a video recently, and it was, hey, you did a video called "I Show You How to Make Necks," and in the video, it was immediately go to the pin router, and nobody has a pin. Well, that's not my fucking fault,
And
but
it's not true.
No, it's not true.
Some people have pin routers.
Yeah.
We
Just-
know several.
And just because you don't have it doesn't mean it just means you can't build the best necks.
Well, and you can also sort of reverse engineer some of that stuff. You
Mhm.
can go another way. You
Mhm.
can, a table router or
I showed a lot of stuff on the table router in those
Yeah,
videos. In fact,
yeah.
stuff that I never do on the
Mhm.
table router,
yeah.
I showed how to do on the table router.
Mhm.
So yeah,
If you're always a I can't person, then you never can. Right?
yeah. Well, when you and I bought the pin router, it wasn't very much money
No.
in the
And
grand scheme of things.
I didn't understand it. I didn't really realize.
Hey, everybody,
I was like,
get this. Chris
yeah.
didn't figure out what we were doing until we started doing
yeah,
it.
until we started doing it. Yeah. But I mean, well, that was really early on, and I didn't really understand how it worked and what it was, and as soon as you did one cut,
Mhm.
you came up, moved the thing, came down, did another cut. I went, oh yeah, that's really
Yeah.
rad. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because before we had 3 routers and
Yeah.
4 plunge depths and
A bunch of
a bunch of other stuff, but
It was harder to do.
But yeah, and really, I'm not even going to say it.
What?
It wasn't that expensive of a tool.
At the time, it wasn't particularly
Well, and
expensive.
I don't think they're exactly going up in price. Stuff is going up in price,
Mhm.
but it's not just the pin router market that's more expensive.
Yeah,
now.
that pin router,
more
we
for
bought it
everything.
in like 2010 or something. I can't remember. When we bought it. 2012.
Yeah, Facebook reminds me once a year.
Yeah.
But they're not that much more now. If they're a couple $100 more now, it's just that there's not a lot of that stuff floating around. And I think a lot of guys are sort of waiting around for somebody to put it up for sale.
Yeah.
When really you got to go and dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
If you really want something like that. Get a hold of
Especially
the wood
something like a
shops and
pin
that.
router.
Yeah. And go, hey, I'm looking for this.
Yeah. Paul Need says, so you're saying you don't need a continually moving transit system, bringing a guitar along every 2 minutes for spraying and conveying them out to dry. No, sir, I am not saying that. I'm saying that you probably don't need that, but maybe one day you will.
Maybe, yeah.
So buying that setup now based on something that will possibly happen is probably not a good idea. Great example though, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand what pin routers actually are. If you do a YouTube search for pin router, it is likely that you will find a video by Doug Cook or somebody else, and they'll tell you all about pin routers. Okay.
Yeah.
So in no particular order, another guitar building 7 deadly sins, practicing what you're good at. If you practice what you're good at and you only do stuff you're good at, you won't get better at stuff that you suck at.
Okay.
Right. So
Yes.
now I'm not saying that you shouldn't be good at something. Like, for example, you and I have split duties
Uh-huh.
here in the shop. You know what I mean? But that's just the way that we have it worked out.
Mhm.
If you totally royally suck at something and you never try to get better at it, then don't be surprised if you never get better at it, right?
Yeah.
This show has to be an hour.
I think that's true.
Okay.
There's lots of things that I sucked at that I've gotten a lot better at, and some things.
I think you and I have pushed each other to get better at stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I mean? No,
Yeah,
you need to sand that finish a little more, Matt, or it won't look good when you buff it. Or you know.
I think so. And I think just doing. I mean, the funny thing is people automatically think if I have the right gear, I'll be able to do a really good job the first time out. And when they can't,
and this is going to dovetail into all these other things.
They go, a lot of times people go, oh, well, you know,
Yeah.
or they blame the tool or they whatever. And really there's skill with all the stuff, no matter how good the tool is. You can have the greatest, let's use the spray gun again.
Yeah.
You can have the greatest spray gun in the world, but if you don't have any skill at all, you're not going to do very well. And that's a good example for me. I'm still learning how to spray guitars and spray paint. You know,
it's probably the hardest thing. It's spraying paint or finishing is
too. You know, a piece of wood isn't the same every time you cut into it, and so you got to kind of learn how to manipulate the wood or pay attention to what's going on with the wood, and you know, it's that way with everything. You know, I mean, it's like fishing. You can't just go out and get a
$500 fishing pole and all of a sudden you're like Bassmasters.
Yeah. Oh, look at that! I'm a world champion. Yeah. There's some skill. So you have to practice. That's, you know, like in high school. That's why you went to football practice every day. Yeah. You practice 5 days a week and you played one game. All that practice went into the game. It wasn't the other way around.
I did a video once where I said that everyone who thinks they're good at sex the first time they did it, they weren't. So
ask the other person.
Yeah, ask the other person. They'll tell you. So it takes a while to get good at stuff, and you're never going to get better at something that you're not good at if you don't keep doing it. And I get it, man. It can be a real frustrating pain in the butt if you know, but the only way you're going to get better is if you practice the stuff that you suck at.
This kind of comes down to that whole idea that we talk about, like people do it. I'm a people. I don't know that they're necessarily any brighter, better equipped, whatever, to do this stuff. It's not like we're talking about, you know, space science and stuff like that.
Space science.
Yeah, we're talking about, you know, manipulating wood and stuff like that. And lots of people can do it.
Sure.
So yeah, if they can do it, I can probably do it. There was something the other day I was like, oh, I know what it is. It's covering amplifiers and Tolex. It's like, yeah, at some point I decided I'm going to learn how to do that. How am I going to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, you probably are going to have to wreck a bunch of stuff.
Well,
first, right?
I got a cabinet, and luckily I saw one video that I went, oh, that's how you do it. Okay, cool. And I was able to grasp the concept and then get quite a bit better each time I did it. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's not like it's an impossible thing to do. None of this stuff's impossible to do.
But someone's probably better at it than you, and that's okay. Yeah, you practice until you get good.
There's somebody that's better at everything you do in life. So yeah, get used to that. And yeah, try and it's your other favorite saying, fail quickly. Yeah.
That's coming up here. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm able to wreck a bunch of these for you.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right.
Man, we have these little rotten fruit flies today.
Yep.
And I've squished a bunch of them. And I'm going to squish a bunch more.
Squish them.
I should have just cracked it right on the mic.
Jeffrey wants to know, am I saying buying different guitars won't make one? I'm not saying anything that I haven't said.
Yeah.
I say what I say, and putting words in my mouth is not.
Well, what did he say? Buying different guitars won't change the way.
No. So if you want to buy whatever guitar you want to buy, but don't say that it's. But don't tell your old lady that Matt told you to do it. So Yeah. So
Oh,
if Jeffrey Egan says, are you saying buying different guitars won't make one a better player? No, I don't remember ever saying that. And I know everyone's just goofing around here, but yeah. Don't try to jump ahead. Don't try to jump ahead.
These are in no particular order except when they are.
Except when I say that they are. Yeah. So here is Jeffrey, I know it's a joke, sir. I said that. So
These are fun.
So Seven Deadly Sin, the next one, having a good plan or not having a good plan. Not planning your work and not working your plan. I do this all the time. I look at something, it's halfway done, and I'm like, well, what kind of binding should it get? And then it's too late to do the headstock, or it's too late to do the headstock the way I want to, or I put the wrong, I want to do reveal binding on the body and it's got plastic binding or something. I go into stuff thinking I do go into stuff without a plan because I've done so many of these that I feel like I don't need to have a plan. Horrible thing. One of my biggest pet peeves is, and I don't do this as often as I used to, but not having your bridge before you start the guitar and then attempting to kludge together a bridge on a guitar that's not designed for that bridge. A neck angle that's wrong for that bridge. So I had a guy contact me yesterday about doing a 12-string bass. And I'm like, that's really cool. And I love those. The hardest thing about those is sourcing a bridge. Warwick makes one. And I think he wound up getting one. But it's not like you can just go to Stuart McDonald and order a 12-string bass bridge. There's very, very few of them.
Music Lily doesn't have them.
They don't have them on Amazon. Yeah. But I'm not going to even start. He's like, well, can we get started without the bridge? I'm like, no, I'm not, because, well, I can like glue up a neck blank. That'd be $500, or you know what I mean? But yeah, until you have that bridge, I can't do anything because that's the trickiest part. So yeah. What do you think about that? Do you ever fall into the,
yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah. Not only here, but other places too.
Sure.
And I try not to, but sometimes stuff like that happens. And sometimes you jump ahead and you miss a whole bunch of stuff in the middle there.
Yeah, that's an easy one to do. Yeah.
So
it's super easy to do that too. If you are practicing what you're not good at and you get the steps wrong because you're not good at it. And yeah,
I'll fix that later.
I'll fix that later is a horrible. Yeah. Anyone who says I'll fix that later, make them fix it now.
Fix it now. Yeah. Because you won't fix it later.
And you can't fix it later. Sometimes
it's even harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
The notion of having a decent plan is I think it does escape a lot of folks. They just kind of blind, and we've seen it a bunch. People show up and they're like, check out this thing I made. Cool. How are you going to, what was it?
The neck in it.
Yeah. How are you
going to cut a neck pocket?
Yeah.
Now that it's got finish and a round over.
Yeah. What was the one that the guy brought in? It was a Fender neck and it had like the fretboard was glued. He was like, all I need you to do is cut the fret slots, or no.
Yeah, it was cut fret slots, radius it.
Yeah.
He hadn't done right. The back was finished.
Yeah. The neck was carved.
Done.
Yeah. Neck was carved. Fretboard was glued on. No fret slots. No radius. No radius. And there are ways to do it.
Yeah, but that's all.
But yeah,
completely backwards of everything we do.
And
I tried telling him that, and he's like, "You can do it. It's easy."
Well, then if it's so easy, then go crazy, dude.
He's like, "Just use a wood block." We don't use wood blocks anymore, my friend. For that, So I sent him his neck back. Yeah,
and that's what should have happened, because that's what needed to happen.
But you gotta. The trick isn't staying one step ahead. The trick is staying 2 or 3 steps ahead, or knowing what the next 2 or 3 is, because then if you drop the ball on this one, maybe you can make it up on the next 2 or 3
if you're lucky. You can. Okay. Here's one of the next 7 deadly guitar building skills. I've never built skills. I've never built a guitar before. Just shut up. I know. Yeah. All right. Ready? You ready? Go. Ready. Hey, Matt, what's the next?
Hey, Matt, what's the next 7 deadly sins of guitar building?
I'm glad you asked, Chris. One of my favorite ones to talk about. I've never built a guitar before, ever. I'm going to make the best guitar in the world in 5 days or in any amount of time.
Any amount of time?
Yeah. Sometimes when you're getting good at something, it's real easy to want to jump ahead and go, I've never built a Telecaster before, so what I need to build is a carved top, neck through, hollow body, 12-string, double neck, and start stack. Yeah, that's right. Fan fret, microtonal, active. Okay.
With 6 pickups.
Sometimes just building a good guitar for your first one is enough to ask. That's enough of an ask.
I think so. One of these days I have this old guitar and I'll actually bust out my first. I took it home, so now it's not here, but I'll bring the guitar that happened to me with.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the best guitar I own.
I think that happens to literally everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It happened to me.
Point,
the first guitar I ever built was going to be the best guitar in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to be the next Paul Reed Smith.
It's going to be easy.
It's going to be, it's
I'll just go along with the program, and next thing you know, because I'll pay attention.
Yeah. And
I have my own wood block to sand with.
Yeah, having some experience goes a long way, and especially when it comes to building guitars. So yeah. So it's okay if your first one isn't perfect. In fact, your 10th one probably isn't going to be perfect.
Yeah,
In fact, your 100th one probably. I bet you can find something wrong in just about any guitar you ever make. You know what I mean? And hopefully those things get littler and littler and
smaller
and
smaller, and other people wouldn't even care. And Yep.
We see that often in the workshops, and it's cool because people are interested in doing something. It's sometimes a little frustrating because how do you convince someone, dude, it's not going to be the greatest thing that you've ever seen?
Well, that's especially day one. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
To hear. Yeah. Hey, welcome to Texas Toast. The guitar you build in this week-long class, although it's going to be really cool, and you're going to have a bunch of fun, it's not going to be the greatest guitar you've ever made.
We don't ever say that. Yeah,
no,
we don't ever say that.
No, but that's kind of almost something that you want to say to some guys. Some guys are all just about the process and the class and having fun and stuff like that. But every once in a while, somebody shows up and you're like, oh, this is the guy that is gonna worry this thing to death. Yeah. And
sometimes it's okay to just make a regular one.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes the best possible thing to do is just
you're gonna have more fun just making a regular one than trying to if you're coming to a Texas Toast class or really any guitar building class, expecting that this is the last guitar I'm ever gonna build because this one's gonna be so freaking awesome. Yeah. Really, we're kind of hoping to whet your appetite. Yeah. With guitar building. Not satisfy the itch completely.
Having said that, there has never been something. Well, I take that back. There's been only one thing that's left the shop that I was not happy
about.
Yeah.
I think we know what we're talking about.
And it was because it didn't get finished. And it was because it was a guy who said, I'm going to build the best thing ever.
I'm ahead of everybody else. Until he wasn't. Yeah. But and things happen, unfortunately, and really, that was a half a day repair on that guitar. We just didn't have a half a day.
Yeah, it was
actually a fairly easy fix, and we fixed it 90% of the way. He just didn't get as far along as he wanted to get, and I think he probably took it home and fixed it, and it's fine.
Probably.
So
Well, and he
just a
had
little bit
been
of a
out-
bummer for the class.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because his daughter came out and made a plain one and had a good time. So
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And you can
And I was really more bummed because I didn't feel bummed because of him. I felt bummed because I felt like I let him down.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was last day, and it was
uh-huh.
and we're keeping eyes on what's going on.
That was a
and
3-day
it
class
was
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just giving it away, and all of a sudden it went bad. I didn't. It was 5 minutes of stuff, and
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
oh shit,
Yeah.
this is bad.
And I felt bad as 7 deadly sins. The next
What
one,
are we on 4?
I don't know. This is one that I am really bad at this one. And I think that everybody in this room is really bad at it, except Ryan. Thinking no one will know, AKA, it's all right. No one will ever see it. AKA, uh-oh, I'm just going to turn it into a relic.
Okay.
I hate hearing, oh, I'll just turn it into a relic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can't decide whether or not I hate no one will ever know it, or I can't get past this. I'm just going to turn it. What do you think? Yeah. First of all, can you explain the whole relicking process so people know what I'm talking about?
Well, which part? So
The part that we always talk about, the part
Well,
that the guitars look exactly perfect before they begin.
Well, that's the idea, right? Is
Yeah.
that you can't relic something by doing a half-assed job. It's going to look like you did a half-assed job and then beat it up.
So explain what I'm
So-
talking about to the good people.
So the idea is that to make a legitimate relic guitar, it has to look pretty much 100%
Mhm.
before you start the relicking process.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just doesn't look quite right. It's like relicking a guitar with a big thick polyester finish.
Yeah.
It just looks stupid. It looks
So at the
wrong and
Fender
fake.
custom shop where they do lots and lots and lots of relics,
uh-huh.
they don't have a stack of like
Half-assed.
strats that got dorked up in the factory.
Well,
that they-
no, they don't have a bunch of guitars that weren't sanded properly.
Yeah,
They have a bunch
yeah.
of sanding scratches under under the clear.
There
and
you go,
yeah,
yeah.
dings in the neck that are under. Yeah. It's a later on kind of a process.
Yeah.
And there's things that you do, but you don't start with the dent you put in it when you
Yeah.
accidentally dropped it. Or whatever it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
And that's a cop out.
I think so too.
And it's either you own up to it and you go, well, I won't do that the next time,
Mhm.
or you go, well, and I'll fix it. Maybe there's a way to fix it,
Mhm.
or I'll redo it, or whatever. But the idea that everything you do is beat up because you just can't do it right.
because
can't
it's
get
because
it
you're not
finished
practicing
right.
what you suck at.
And maybe, maybe, or you're doing what you suck at the same exact way every time.
You're not sucking
is-
less.
Well, which is something else that people do, right?
Yeah.
Man, no matter what I do, they always turn out this way. Well,
Stop doing
yeah,
that.
Stop doing it that way. And maybe, change up your routine and
Try
see what
something,
happens. Yeah.
I've tried nothing and it keeps getting
And it
dorked
keeps-
up the same way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, every time I make macaroni and I add a cup of salt, it's too salty.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
it's funny because it sounds absurd, but we see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
People like get so fixated on the process that's wrong,
Or
that because they saw it on somewhere,
or
that
that's just the way you've always done it, and it's
Mhm.
always been sort of shaky.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
we redid something the other day, and I was like, I can't believe we never thought about doing this before. But
Yeah.
the only reason is because that's just the way we always did it.
What was it? Do you remember?
It was the truss rod slot.
Oh yeah. How
And the way
we
it
altered
went
our
in.
truss
And
rod
yeah,
slot.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, as far as I was concerned, so let's make a new truss rod jig, and I went okay, and I was just going to make it the exact same way that we've always
Oh,
made
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Because why? Because that seemed to work.
Yeah.
But this new one, it's a little cooler. It's a little cleaner. It's
We
a little nicer.
we made it a little nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because we could.
Mhm.
Before, we didn't probably have the technology to do that, or it would have been a whole lot harder to make that jig.
Mhm.
But now we do. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what about the notion of, yeah, that's a great one. Oh, this truss rod's a little bit wonky. You won't be able to tell. No one will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or I'll do I was showing off your wiring prowess, your ability to solder and make it look nice.
Did
No
you
one
do
ever
that
sees that.
actually on something?
I was showing Brandon today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like
so you didn't put it on Instagram.
No.
Good.
But like you're the way that you do, like it looks really clean. No one's ever going to see that.
Well,
But it doesn't mean it can't look good. Yeah.
Well, at some point, somebody might see it, and somebody might go, "Oh, that's really nice."
Hey,
Versus opening it up and it's a rat's nest.
Bobby Dill, he says, is with a super chat, says, I came in with low expectations and left with a guitar that I really love. Not perfect, but I love to play it every day. Thanks again for the chance. You're welcome, Bobby.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
well, and you know, that's you can love something that isn't perfect. Not everything in your life has to be perfect. I love lots of things that aren't perfect, you know, and sometimes those imperfections are what I like about them. And sometimes with a guitar that you made, you know, those imperfections are just, you know, part of the guitar and part of the story. And you can be, you know, you can beat yourself up and go, man, I just can't play it because it's just not perfect. Or you can go, man, I made this and this is really cool.
While I was looking at Bobby Dill's super chat, I noticed Wayne Bake's question that he did not put question marks on. He did not get the memo on that. Wayne wants to know, I saw a maker using a CNC to machine fret slots that don't show on the sides of the fretboard. Would you guys ever try something like that with hot dog fret ends? As a matter of fact, Wayne, we have a couple over there that have exactly that. So they have next that we got from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, and they have blind fret slots. And we absolutely did put in the hemispherical fret ends, and it looks super cool. That's a big job.
That's a big learning curve thing.
Yeah.
Frets are hard on their own, and then you add that to it.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried it, and I know it's hard.
Well, you and I have 3 of them to do
next
week.
I listened to a bunch of swearing. Now you're good at that, so I'm not going to do it.
I'm good at swearing.
No, fret ends. I haven't done any, so
I
I'm
think
going to assume I'm great at it, and I don't need to.
Don't even need to try it
after this conversation.
So the hemispherical fret ends, it's man, that's something that it will try a man's soul, because you get one side good, get the other side good, but it's a little too long, and then now it's a little too short.
I think one of the things with some of this is like pencil lines. You're allowed to erase. Not every pencil line is a keeper. Not every fret is a keeper. You can make it, if it doesn't work.
When we're getting to that, we're getting to that next.
Are we?
The next of the 7 deadly sins, fixing it until it doesn't work, or knowing when to cut bait. So, guys, this is something that I see a lot. If it's not broken, don't break it. That's obvious, right? But sometimes some things that are broken become something that you need to fix. I have to fix this because I need to save 20 cents worth of fret wire every time I do. Because,
and some stuff hurts more than others.
That's right.
Do that. And sometimes things happen on the very last day. And you hate when that happens, and you have to decide, is it time to jump ship, or can I do something with this that will be okay? And sometimes that stuff adds up, and by the end you have this half-assed thing.
Sometimes it's best to. There are examples all over the shop.
Those, on the wall.
I have them on display, not because I want to show everyone how bad I am at doing things, but because I want to show you, look, sometimes you can do everything right and it still goes wrong.
Sometimes something happens.
Or sometimes you can do everything wrong and this is what it looks like. Or sometimes you can do everything right except one thing and it's wrecked. You cannot bounce back from it.
No. Nope. And that's okay. It sucks. It stings. But
we do that more often than I like to admit, actually, where it's like,
I think everybody yesterday did something that they're not happy with.
I maybe
did too.
This week has been kind of goofy. Like everything about this week has just been really not That's another
Not
thing.
everything.
That is what happens is it's easy to focus on those
Yeah.
bad things and not focus on all the good stuff that happened too. But yeah, it only takes a few little things to kind of wreck the whole day, you know. And sometimes if you wreck something, it's easier to just go, you know what, I'm going to start over brand new and I'll feel better about it. And I won't have this weird thing that I had to fix.
Mhm.
And sometimes fixing stuff takes way longer than redoing it. We were looking at a guitar that had some inlay that kind of got all dorked up, and we wanted to just cutting the headstock off. This was today, because it's like the fretboard was on, radius, frets were going in, there was binding on it, inlay all over it. And what we had to do was so much fix that in order to fix it right would have meant scraping off the fretboard and putting a new fretboard on it. At that point, it's just as easy and probably better.
And it was just enough far down the road that it
Yeah.
wasn't going to be real easy to
Mm-hmm.
do some of those previous steps again.
Yeah, so just start over with
Yeah,
new
and it-
wood. And you're right, it does sting.
stings,
Yeah.
and it hurts, and yeah, you're like, oh, man, why can't I? I've been doing this for how long?
Mm-hmm.
Why does stuff like this keep happening? But it was a new thing,
Yeah,
and yeah, and so I hope we learned a new lesson.
I think
And
so.
next time, yeah, and next time it won't happen. But yeah, that's just kind of the nature of the beast.
Yep.
I guess.
Well, yeah,
So-
I mean, anytime you're start, well, just because you are good up to that point and you've
Mhm.
got to get good at the next level stuff,
Yeah.
that shit
I
happens
put a
all
bunch
the
of
time.
little inlays in. How
Sure.
much worse could it be if I put a whole
Yeah.
bunch of big ones
Yeah.
in? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. All right. Are you ready for my final entry into the 7 deadly sins of guitar
Yes.
building? Okay. Buying woods and materials that are Lucky Charms. Now, this kind of dovetails into the
Okay.
building the best possible thing, building possibilities versus probabilities, stuff like that. But I see it often. I'm going to buy $500 worth of flame or quilted maple, and I'm going to make this. Man, you made a big investment. Or I'm going to get this, I don't know, this bridge that does all this magical stuff.
Hey.
You have a magical bridge?
Yeah. First.
Magical pig.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about, Brian? You're not a Frank Zappa fan? Okay.
Oh yeah. okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, the first guitar I built, I spent a whole bunch of money on a bridge, and I didn't just get the brushed
Mhm.
stainless. I got the polished stainless, and that added some money.
But I mean,
And then I
like,
spent a whole bunch of money on pickups, and
uh-huh.
yeah, and I was like, man, this thing's going to be,
If you bought everything that you could buy, the best of the best,
mhm.
how much do you think you would have? How many dollars do you think you would have in a guitar with how many dollars do you think you would have in
Oh, if you spend a bunch of money on wood,
on wood and electronics and bridges and pickups and things? And I'm not saying don't spend the money,
yeah,
but if you buy a $500 billet of quilt maple, you got a lot of steps to go before the guitar is a guitar.
yeah,
And you got $500 worth of fancy maple that no one but you is going to give a crap about. And that's enough. But yeah, buying magic pieces is
yeah.
I think that it is wrong. And you know what? There's going to be people out there who disagree with me. They're wrong, but I'm
What
right
about-
because yeah.
yeah. Once again,
7 times I've been
again,
right,
you could-
Chris. Yeah.
You could, and in some ways, I think that makes some of these other steps harder. If you have a whole bunch of money in wood,
Yeah.
and you screw up, you're like, oh man, I have to fix this.
Yeah,
I
now
spent
I
way
have
too
to
much
fix
money
it.
on this, or I have all these parts. I can't abandon this project on the last day. I have all
Mhm.
these parts. I can
Mhm.
figure out something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the other part of it is if you buy okay stuff, maybe, and the guitar turns out awesome, and because here's what happens is the parts are way better than the finished product.
Yeah.
Right.
You and I both have guitars that are like that.
Yeah.
In our inventories.
Yeah. And
way more in parts than the guitar is worth.
And I've even thought about stripping that and making a new one, but then all I would have is this Hulk.
A menagerie of parts.
The idea is that you could build a new one now. With
you know what? That should
would
be the eighth
better.
of the seventh.
But that's a bad idea.
Mark 7A.
Yeah.
Taking a guitar apart because you like the pieces, but you don't like the guitar.
Or taking your guitar apart and thinking you're going to put it back together the right way or fix it. Yeah. I'll just take it apart and fill these holes and repaint it, and it'll be fantastic.
Repaint it, it'll be great.
Put a couple of different pickup routes in it and drill a hole through the top.
Add a veneer to the top. Yeah.
And so you need to, and in some ways, those guitars need to be reminders of those kinds of things. And really the neat thing is to buy decent quality stuff and have the sum be greater than the parts.
Yeah.
I built this really great guitar. Don't have the greatest bridge, but I could always upgrade that if I want to.
Yeah.
But not have a $300 worth of bridge.
I also think that magical woods and magical components, I don't know. I like most of everything that I like musically was recorded with fairly ho-hum stuff.
Yeah. Well, and there's I think one of the so if you're talking about fairly standard guitars, there's lots and lots of parts from Telecasters. You can spend from almost no money to thousands of dollars for hardware. But
even the suckiest Telecaster sounds like a Telecaster,
and everything else in between, and Strats and even Les Pauls, Stoptails and Tunamatics. There's not a million, but there's lots of different levels you can spend on that stuff, and most of it works pretty well. And you can probably find
sometimes I see that where it's like, Billy Gibbons has an aluminum Stoptail, so I need to have an aluminum Stoptail.
Titanium studs.
And you know what? I think it's cool to say I have that because it's cool to say I have that, but to go, I need that, and then I'll sound like, no, you won't.
Yeah. So,
just play the regular one.
Yeah. So, and that's part of it too, is you get all wrapped up in, I'm going to build the greatest guitar in the world. It's got to have all these features that no other guitar has. And so your options for hardware all of a sudden become really, really limited. Yeah. And you end up having to spend way too much.
I'm going to rework this list. I actually really like this list. I'm going to rework this list, and I'm going to call it the deadly sins, because there might be more than 7 for new guitar builders. I'm going to put it in our workbook that we have.
All right.
That's a continually evolving thing. One day I'm going to sell that as a thing that you guys can buy.
Good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Is everything's a good idea till you have to do it in there yet?
No, I think that is actually.
You said that?
Me. Everything's a good idea until I have to do it. Yeah. You think? Or maybe,
I thought a student said that.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, everything seems like a good idea until you have
to do it. You know what? You're right. I was attempting to take credit for
Chris
something.
Hendricks.
It might have been Chris Hendricks.
Yeah, but anyway.
You know what, Chris? You are right. I am wrong. See, when I'm wrong, which is very rare, I will admit it. And you are right, and I am not right.
Or maybe it was Dave the Pious. I think it was Dave the Pious that said it.
It could have been, yeah.
I'm almost positive it was. And really, he didn't even hardly do anything that seemed like a good idea that wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
That almost came out wrong. He almost didn't do anything that was a good idea. It's not true.
So Dylan says it was Dave the Pious.
Yeah.
Paul Needs asks, so would you say that using CTS pots on the first build is a waste of money? No, I wouldn't.
Because they're only like $1.
They're only $1. Yeah, they're only $1 more.
Yeah. It's not like, I mean, you could spend way more on pots. You could buy, there's some expensive pots you can buy. And even then, if you're spending, $10 or $15 or $20 more for all the pots, who cares?
One of the things about potentiometers is people get kind of like, anytime a company, like, I'm not saying that Gibson does this, but let's use Gibson because they've been a great whipping boy for me. Every time Gibson switches from brand X, CTS pots or Switchcraft switches to brand X, people are up in arms. I don't know why they do that. That's only $5 worth of stuff. Well, times 1,000 guitars, that's a lot of money. And they charge the same amount of money for each guitar. So all of that $5,000 just goes into the pocket of Gibson.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's used to pay salaries for people to do frets poorly and scrape binding incorrectly. So yeah. And that's not, and again, it's not
Yeah,
just Gibson that's responsible for that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I don't think people realize how much that stuff adds up in the end.
Mhm.
You know, man, I can't believe this $350 guitar has those little mini pots in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's $350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said, I was reminded of the Paul Reed Smith shielding job
Mm-hmm.
that we saw
Mm-hmm.
not long ago. We did a video about shielding, and I'm like, look, here's what's in a $3,000 Paul Reed Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a half-ass shielding job. It worked great. It actually, in fact, it worked great. You could not hear that guitar
It worked
at
as
all
well
when it
as the
wasn't
one
playing.
covered in copper
Yep.
and helicopter paint
Yep.
and some sort of mesh.
And somebody sent in a thing. They're like, I would rather build a fortress than a matchstick house
Mm-hmm.
if it's not that much harder. Yeah, I get it. But if you're a big company,
Yeah, and if you want to spend, if you want to
Yeah.
spend all day
Knock yourself
shielding
out.
your guitar, knock yourself out.
yeah, go crazy.
Yep. Nobody else can do that over
Mhm.
and over again. Yeah, there's got to be some sort of speedy way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just sit here and say till the end.
Yeah. K Sharp 10, avoid all the mistakes, make Matt stay, and buy a well-built. God bless you, sir. Buy a well-built Texas Toast guitar. Thank you. Chris Hendricks says, I'm glad you're saving the cash on those silver pups. Not worth the effort. They don't hold a candle to the DAF, man. Okay, I guess I'm not familiar with what's happening here. So guys, next week, Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone, who is coming up in 9 short minutes on his Primetime Guitar Live.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan will be here in the shop with us all week long. Is
When
that
are they
right,
leaving?
Dylan? I think they're going to be here Monday, so I don't know what that means for like when they leave.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think it depends on how long they want it to take to get here.
I think you're right. So I'm looking forward to hanging out with Dylan again. It's always good to
It's
see
always
him
fun
and
to see.
Leslie. Yeah.
It's always fun to hang out with them.
Yep. And we've got a great reveal for tomorrow.
We do. We'll have
and there may be a surprise that even I don't know about.
A couple guitars, maybe some cool projects.
Okay.
Maybe a very, very special surprise.
Ooh.
Depends on if it gets here or not.
Well, I don't know what that could possibly be, sir.
I'm all anticipatory, and I know what it is.
Me too.
Surprised it wasn't here today.
Well, I'm kind of surprised it isn't here today as well. Will Dylan ever make a Rickenbacker replacement pickup? That is certainly a question you would need to that is a language you'd have to have with Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
It's, Rickenbacker, everything Rickenbacker, we've done a handful of Rickenbacker knockoff counterfeits.
Mm-hmm.
And man, everything is hard because there's nothing that's standard. Everything is exclusively Rickenbacker.
Mm-hmm. And they guard that stuff like.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you finish the SG bass? Chris actually was working on that just this week.
I did actually work on it. Yes, it's getting closer.
Yeah. Dylan says no, he will not make. I don't blame him.
That was easy.
That's easy.
I can't imagine there's a whole lot of call for that kind of thing for replacement Rickenbacker stuff. And Rickenbacker will come after you with a vengeance if you make stuff.
Yeah.
Not just for yourself, but you'll drive yourself nuts trying to get everything in line with it.
And this is really a topic that's a great topic for another day. But Rickenbacker, some of the neatest looking guitars that are horrible. I love and hate Rickenbackers equally.
Yeah.
I don't think like the 4001 and the 450 whatever guitar version of the 4001. I've had those and God, they're I'm like, oh, look how cool this thing is. And then you play them and it's like, how come the neck doesn't, the neck is straight.
Yeah.
There's no, like, I don't know. I love and hate them equally. So that's just me, you guys. And if you love Rickenbackers and don't hate them, then you're wrong, and that's fine. So
If people loved Rickenbacker, you'd see more Rickenbacker.
you'd think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about Rickenbacker is, you know Dutch? He's a local guy, plays bass.
I
He
don't.
has like 12
Yeah.
2001s.
Uh-huh.
He won't play anything else. He loves it. But that's what they do. They just buy the same thing.
They buy the same thing over and over. Yeah. Let's see. Solaris Moon says, I wish you guys could make an Ernie Ball Stingray base style body. I'd love to have an amethyst sparkle Stingray, but I don't have 2,700 for one. Well, now,
guess what?
Now we would not be able to build you one for probably a lot less than that.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we do. Is
Yeah.
Yeah.
We would be happy to build you a Music Man Stingray, but it's going to be more than you can just get it.
You can buy one from them in their factory where that's all they make.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're asking for a one-off thing.
Yep.
And it costs more for one-off things from
one-off
us.
things cost more. And frankly, we don't do one-off things anymore.
No,
I mean,
you'd be better off buying one on the secondhand market and tearing it apart and sending it to like Marty Bell and letting him paint it sparkle for you and reassembling it.
That would be good. So anyhow, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching our 1 hour of primetime guitar. Chris, what do you think of the 7 deadly sins for good?
Man, I'm looking forward to committing all of those sins
tomorrow
soon.
I hope that you guys are too. If you guys want to come and hang out with us and build guitars with us, you can sign up for one of our workshops. All of the workshops are on the website right now. Some of them it's tricky. Like you look up one and it says neck through workshop is the same day as carved top workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody,
that was Richie Pierce.
Yeah. Rich sent me an email. He's like, is this a typo or is it, am I missing something? I'm like, yes and yes. It originally was a typo, and then we had people sign up for both. I'm like, out of hell with it. Let's just do them both simultaneously. So we've actually added more workshops. So we've added more neck throughs and we've added more carved tops.
Yep.
So in a roundabout way. So anyway,
we're gonna keep adding classes until we fail miserably on one of them. Just like we're not going to fail, but
I'm not worried about that.
But it's it seems almost like it's some sort of challenge. Sometimes.
The caliber of operator who shows up here is always high.
It is, yeah.
So.
Well, and I think people that will show up to those kinds of classes have either been here before or have a few other skills.
In 100 people that have come to one of these things, we've only had one guy that wasn't like that. I wasn't super happy. He was actually fine with it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm bummed out. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks to all of our sponsors, Flipside Music, the Great American Guitar Store, Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, Dan and Calvin at Tone Wood Experts. By the way, don't send me emails asking me, does Tone Wood Experts have this? I don't know. And the answer is yeah, they probably do. And yes, 2, I don't know.
Yeah, say yes to everything.
Call them. I would also like to thank John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars. By the way, code TXTOAST at checkout, you get 15% off. Code Texas Toast 15 at checkout with Tonewood Experts, you get 15% off. I'd like to thank Chris and Dina at Odyssey Beer Works and Dylan and Leslie from Dylan Pickups, Dylan Talks Tone. Stick around for them in 1 hour. Steve is coming back with some neat stuff from the Nashville area. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what Steve is returning with. Did I miss anybody?
Yeah, your friend Nigel.
Nigel Forstner at Forstner Guitars in Queensland, Australia. We are going to be using his hemispherical fret, like automatic file all week next week because we've got a bunch of necks to do hemispherical frets on. And all of them get it. So that's going to be pretty fun. Maybe we'll have Brandon.
This might be a really good time to do some live streams because we always talk about that during classes. But this time, things have changed a little bit. We're not going to be as busy teaching.
But we are going to be doing the same number of guitars. So
correct. So maybe we can do some live streams.
Like a live how we do it kind of thing?
No.
That might be neat. That might be a cool thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know what I think I'm going to do is bring the little drill press from the house and set it up on the table there and just have that set up exclusively for hemispherical fret ends.
Oh, okay.
What do you think of that?
Sure.
Okay. All right, gang. Well, it's time for us to wrap it up. Black Dog Sheep says, are you going to be doing the daily live streams? I don't know that we will or not. Brandon Kaminski, who is going to be doing all of the hemispherical fret ends, says, "You guys rock. I'm going to give you a follow." Okay. All right, gang. We will see you tomorrow for the reveal. Stick around. Go over to Dylan's page for his hour of Primetime Guitar Live and hang out with him and tell him the guys at Texas Toast sent you. So we will see you tomorrow for the reveal. Until then, have a great night, everybody. I'm going to try to sleep all night tonight. I'm feeling it today.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm going to get up and pee at least once.
Good idea.